Just okay. You can't. Hey, don't do it. That's right. Oh, hey, I'm live. There's one person watching. That must be me. Okay. So why can't I see that on here? This is strange. I just don't. Oh. This is I can hear it now. This is yeah. My name is Desiree Djanie, and I have decided to come on live every day for an hour in the month of June to answer your burning questions about your hair and your scalp and your skin. I just wanted to introduce myself by talking about what has brought me here at this stage. So I had a career in HR, and I was happy doing my work, but coming from a background of braiding for over many years at that time, all I could think about was doing hair. So I decided that the time had come that I needed to do something about it. A lot of things were happening in my life, in my personal life, with family and friends, and so I decided that perhaps there had to be an answer to some of the burning questions that we all had, including myself. And most of these questions were to do with the hair, the scalp, and the skin. And I had to start somewhere, which is when I started doing hair. And so I have come far, and I am here today to answer some questions, any burning questions. I wanted to start small, but I wanted to do this well as I possibly can. And so I want to discuss some things that have been on people's minds and some of the questions I get in my studio. So I run a studio salon, a small studio salon in Leicester, and I do people's hair for them. I'm a multicultural salon. I do all hair types, and I also treat people's skin topically and internally. And so I am well versed on all hair types and all skin types also. So today I am going to speak about some of the things that I have been experiencing and seeing in the salon when I work here in my studio. And if you can all hear me, can you please put a heart in the chat, just so that I can see that you're there and you can hear me and you can see me fine. I'll be able to see your comments, and it will help me to know that you can all see me so I can continue going. So if you can see me, put a heart in the chat, in the comments below, so that I can see you. I can know that you're seeing me without any issues. Thank you. Crochet for the girls. Thank you very much. So everything is good. Okay. So I want to start with talking about texture altering treatments. So somebody left a message, a question for me to answer. I'm just going to quickly go to the question and read it out. Okay, so the question was about a 14-year-old girl that has afro textured hair and the mum wants to do something for this child to make the hair perhaps more manageable, or she feels that she wants to get that relaxed look and feel to the hair. And so wanted to know about some keratin treatments and what my advice would be with regards to that. First of all, I need to start by saying that any advice that I give you on here is not as a GP. I'm not coming to you as a doctor. You must always seek professional advice of your GPs and your doctors, because I do not have a history of your health. So you must make sure that you go and get any advice that you have that is particularly pertaining to you with your general practitioners. This is a general overview of things that are troubling you that you want some expert knowledge on. It isn't a consultation, so it's not a virtual consultation. It is to give you an idea and to start you off on your research journey on finding out some of the troubling issues that you may be having. So texture releases or amino acid treatments or keratin treatments, they all fall into the same category. They are there to smooth down the hair cuticles and to make the hair fibers a little bit more, have the ability to be able to style versatilely. So to have that versatility of the hair, to make sure that the person who is managing that hair can actually manage it and deal with it on a day-to-day basis in a well-managed way. So this parent wants to know how to do that with her child's afro hair. So I have to start by saying that the normal course of action is that when the child is 14 years old, we cannot advise that any of these treatments should be conducted on a child of that age. We have many reasons as to why that is. As a professional, it's usually one of the first things is that we are not covered to conduct these treatments on a child of the age of 14. Most manufacturers only start to test their brands and their products on people over the age of 16. So it's not that the child cannot use the product, it's just that it hasn't been tested on a child of that age. So we don't know how the child will react to that product. And so if we haven't tested it on that child or a child of that age, we cannot say that it will work. But there are other things, other reasons why we always advise that advanced treatments aren't conducted on children under the age of 18, under the age of 16. I'm sorry. So I'm going to start by basically highlighting the effects and the positives of the keratin treatments that are available on the market today and what they do. Okay, so usually a keratin treatment or a smoothing treatment or a cuticle smoothing treatment allows clients to have the optional textural change that increases the manageability of the hair itself. So it is formulated, most of these things are formulated for hairs that have cuticle layers that are raised or hairs that are a little bit more hard to manage by the person whose hair it is. And also it allows the hair to maintain that straightness for a maximum of time. So it's a temporary treatment. It's not there to last you as long as let's say a relaxer is. So relaxers are normally permanently done, and when that's done, it's finished. Your hair cannot be reverted back to its natural state. Texture releases and keratin treatments and other keratin treatments are temporary, and they do wash out over time. Now, I'm going to say that with a caveat, because usually it doesn't necessarily mean that that will happen. It depends on how it was conducted, how the treatment was conducted. We have to think about the hair's inherent nature. So the strength of the hair to begin with. If the hair is poor in strength, or the hair hasn't had the treatment that it needs before the texture releases or the keratin treatments are conducted, sometimes what happens is the actual integrity of the hair will become damaged. When that occurs, I'm afraid to say a rather temporary treatment that is supposed to be will become a permanent treatment. So the hair will permanently lose its curl pattern if the hair is not in its optimum state before the treatment took place. Okay, so these keratin treatments are formulated for curly textured hair types. Now, the transformation is supposed to happen by changing frizzy, damaged and unmanageable hair into a smooth texture. That is the ideal. However, like I said before, it can change, whereby we find that the hair does not return back to its original state that it used to be. So some of the positives of having such treatments are that it helps to fight the frizz, it defends the hair against like cuticle cracking or splitting, and it also smooths down the fibers. It fortifies the hair itself. So if it's weak, if the hair is just weak in itself, it will fortify it, meaning that it feeds it with some of the nutrients that it needs. What we know is that hair itself is made of proteins and keratin bonds, and because of that, feeding the hair with more of what it has is great for the hair itself. So the treatment is supposed to be fortifying, and it helps those weakened fibers to become stronger so that they can be resilient against environmental pressures and things like that. It's usually for people that we find in the salon who are either transitioning from relaxer to natural or vice versa. So clients who think that they need that bliss point between the two textures to be unified in some way will come in, and we would conduct those treatments for them. Pardon me. So clients who also find that their curl patterns are very tight and they're trying to elongate the curl pattern, they're trying to make the hair feel a little bit longer or appear longer in a stretch state, would also use the keratin treatments that we're talking about. It usually lasts about 12 weeks. We say 12 weeks with a caveat, because as I've explained before, there are circumstances where the hair will not return back to its original state. Okay, so these are some of the things that we look for in a client, in the ideal candidate for a keratin treatment. The client has to be over the age of 16, of course, as I've explained before, and these are the reasons for it is just fairly simple. Children who are having these treatments, we must be mindful of, because their scalp may not be in the state that it needs to be in to withstand some of the pressures of the treatments that we're introducing to the hair and scalp. As if you can imagine, a child is born, they have got fine hairs that are not mature yet. These hairs we call vellus hairs. Some of the hairs on their bodies are hairs that will disappear and will not return. But the hairs on the hair the hairs on the head are hairs that are called terminal hairs. So those hairs will stay, but they will become mature over time. We need to allow the time for the hair to enter the stage of maturity. If we start to break the hair or treat it intensively with treatments, although these treatments are not harsh chemicals, they are chemical treatments nonetheless. They are advanced treatments, so they do alter the hair. We don't want to be altering a child's hair that hasn't reached full maturity, so we must be careful in doing that. And so the right candidate will be over the age of 16. They would have hair that is in good condition, because we need to be protecting hair that is of good condition. So usually in my studio, we would conduct a treatment of some sort beforehand. So it could be a bond treatment, a bond perfecting or multiplying treatment, such as the Olaplexes and what have you. And then we will then follow on and do the keratin treatment. I have to caveat and also say that this video has not been sponsored, and so if I mention any branding whatsoever, it is just purely based on what I use, and my recommendation is as such. Okay, so these treatments are treatments that are activated by using heat. So we use the heat to activate those ingredients in the product that has been formulated to help to alter the fibers of the hair. So a client that is not so used to having heat on their hair may struggle with this, because we will have to use heat to do so. Back to the advice that I would give to this lady who asked the question is fairly simple. Your child is 14 years old. I wouldn't necessarily say that this would be the right treatment for the child. Even if you consent to the child having these treatments, I would be very, very, very careful with that, because the person who's conducting the treatments must make sure that the scalp is able to withstand this level of advanced treatment, that the hair is in good state for it to happen, but also to avoid the legal pressures that may come should things go wrong. My all-time favorite advice that I give to people is, when you're seeking out advice or you're seeking out treatments, you must be mindful that the person who is conducting the treatment would be able to do something for you, or to have a plan of action should things go wrong. What would they do when things go wrong? Do they even know what to do when things go wrong? Do they have the tools in place to be able to repair things that have gone wrong in the salon? So if this client cannot have, or isn't the right candidate to have a keratin treatment, what is my advice? So I would say that the client needs to go in to see someone who specializes in this type of hair, with this hair type. They need to visit someone who specializes with this hair type. Because when we find that hair is so unmanageable and frizzy in nature, it's because it's most likely depleted in some of the nutrients that it needs. Now, this could be that the bonds are broken, it could be that there's lacking in protein, or there isn't enough moisture or hydration within the hair. And so going in and asking someone who is well educated and experienced in dealing with this hair type would be my advice to begin with. And they should be able to put together a plan for you. This plan will be bespoke to you and your child and your child's needs. They will assess the hair. They would conduct a test that we call a wet stretch test, where we take a few strands of the hair after that the hair has been clarified and cleansed and it's been stripped off all the residual deposits on the hair. The hair will be stretched and we would be requiring the hair to return back to its original state. Now, if that does not happen, the person who is conducting, the professional who's conducting the treatments must treat the hair accordingly until the hair has returned when it has been stretched. Only then must a treatment of this sort go ahead, or any sort go ahead. And so once that is done, the person who is treating the hair must look to either do a protein, a bond building treatment, or a moisture treatment, depending on what the hair needs. Normally, when we get hair that is damaged, when we stretch the hair, it either snaps, which means it never returns back to where it's from. We stretch it and it ribbons, or we stretch it and the optimum way is that it goes back to where it was. So stretch and snap, it's a no-go. You most definitely need to treat this hair with perhaps, your most intensive reconditioning treatments. Or when you stretch it and it ribbons, then you need to treat the hair accordingly. We will discuss all of this at another time, at another point. But at the moment, just for this client who needs to know what to do to make their child's hair more manageable, I'm just trying to go through this as quickly as I can. And then the client will seek to find someone who is also capable of giving them a home care plan that they can maintain at home. These home care plans are there to guide and help you so that you can achieve the hair that you're looking for. Hair that is in good condition will normally have cuticles laid really tightly packed down, and so there is no friction and there is no charge, which then does not cause splitting or unmanageability. We need to have those cuticles laid really lovely, tightly packed down. It's how the hair will become resilient to the pressures of managing the hair, mechanical managing, chemical managing, or just day-to-day living. And so once these treatments have been devised for the child, they must go in every so often to have a review. There has to be an updated consultation that helps the client know that they are on the right path. Sometimes what we find is that you put a treatment, you give a client a home care plan, they go off, they start doing these home care plans, and unfortunately it no longer works, but they don't come back for a review. We need to make sure that these treatments will work for the clientele. I always say this, I only see you 2 to 3 hours every so often when you come to see me. I do not live with you. I don't know what you're doing at home. I don't know what you do in your life. But what I can do is help you when you're with me. When clients come in, I encourage them to tell me as much as they can. It's a no judgment zone. We are very open-minded in the way that I operate within the salon. And when you come in, we just ask that you tell us everything. It's the only way that we can actually truly help. And so reviews help us in doing that. Coming back for a review is amazing in the sense that we get to go back and troubleshoot where things aren't going as well as we want it to be. And then if we need to alter the advice that has been given to you, we will do so. Okay. So I hope that answers that question for that client. I can't think of anything else. I have made notes, but I can't think of anything else that I can add to it. If the person is on the chat today, they can just comment and let me know if that answers their question. But all in all, it is wise for the child to go in to see someone who specializes in her hair type, who is well educated and has got the skills in handling hair of this type, so that there can be a plan made for her journey up until the time when she can possibly have keratin treatment of some sort. And that's it for that question. And then there was another question that I want to answer, so I'm just going to go back to that. If you're watching and you're learning something new, can you let me know that you are by putting a thumbs up or giving me a comment, just to let me know that you are learning something new and this is making sense to you before I continue. So the next question was from someone who wanted to know that they are taking a prescription for their acne on their back and nothing else seems to work. Somehow they're taking this prescribed medication by the GP, but it doesn't seem to work. Again, I have to caveat this and say that I am not your GP. I am giving you advanced skincare advice based on limited information, and so it is just so that you can start to further your research on this issue. I must always advise that you must consult your GP, and if you've already consulted your GP and you find that nothing is working, it is worth then coming in to see someone who has advanced knowledge on helping you with a situation like this. Okay, so if a client came to me in the salon and they had this issue, how would I deal with it? So the first course of action would be to ensure that we have done the right consultation for the client, to make sure that we are going to put the right plans in place for the client's problem that they have come in to complain about, or the issue that they're having an issue with. And so after the GP treatment has ended, when the client has finished with the antibiotics that they're on, it is a good idea to come in and have a chat about how things have gone so far. Most of the time we find that clients who have been on antibiotics sometimes experience issues with their gut, and also the actual skin texture changes over time when they've been using antibiotics. So I would, without any other information except for what I have, I would start with a topical skincare, advanced skincare, where we will use some of our advanced skincare techniques like the high frequency treatments, and we'll also really tackle this from the inside out. It would be the best approach where we have acne of this kind. Okay, so the treatment plan would be very simple. It would be our advanced nutrition program that the client will be going on, but we will combine that with the skin clear biome and the skin youth biome, which are probiotics within themselves. So the biomes are probiotics, and they have got their own individual strengths that helps to settle these issues that this client is concerned with. So the advanced nutrition program, the one that the client will be on, is called Acumax. Now, Acumax is a product. Again, I am not sponsored by this brand. I work with this brand, and this is the prescription that I would make for a client who complains of this condition. The Acumax range is fairly simple. It's a plant nutrient. It's rich in vitamin A, C, and E, and it's been formulated for problematic skin type. Okay, so a course of this will work from the inside out to support healthy skin. What it does is it clarifies the complexion and basically creates a perfectioning of an imperfect face, neck, back, chest, shoulders, wherever there are acne, skin, or problematic skin issues presenting itself. It transforms the skin completely, and it just gives you, I cannot speak volumes enough about this particular prescription. It transforms the skin, and it just makes the skin so beautifully clear afterwards. It has got vitamin A in there, which is brilliant for maintaining normal skin. So normal skin conditions, which is skin that is clear, that is resilient, that is glowing and acne-free, is what we would call normal skin. Sometimes normal skin will present itself with some acne or breakouts and certain things like that. But so long as when we treat it, it reacts and responds to treatment, that is sufficient. But where we're having problem-prone skin that isn't actually responding to treatments, we have to go in from the inside out. Another ingredient that this Acumax has, the skin Acumax has, is vitamin C. Vitamin C is amazing at helping us to form collagen within the skin. It helps to help with normal functions of the skin, and it helps to also help the functioning of the immune system. Works from the inside out, and it nourishes all the layers of the skin. So we're talking about the epidermis, the dermis, and the much lower areas of the skin cells. So it tackles every single skin cells. It's just amazing. It feeds every skin cell in the body, helps to support it in all areas of the skin, your face, your chest, your back, your shoulders. So vitamin A is just amazing. It's just amazing, and it's great to put it on. I mean, most people will know it as retinol or retinoid and things like that. So these are the derivatives of vitamin A and how it transforms itself from one end to the other. But really, vitamin A is what will be something that we would prescribe, which is formulated within this advanced nutrition program prescription. It doesn't contain any harsh chemicals. The product that we use, all the products that we use, do not contain harsh chemicals. My business functions on the ethos that we have to use as gentle as we can as a process to help clients have what they are looking for and achieve the most resistant hair, scalp, and skin so that they can live their normal lives and enjoy it. Okay, so it also contains vitamin E. Vitamin E is a fat soluble, and it's easily absorbed into the skin, but it's the number one ingredient that really helps to fast or to hasten the healing of acne and the scars that it causes afterwards. The acne scars are the scars that the acne itself leaves behind. So we don't only have to heal this acne, we also have to make sure that we smooth down those scars that it leaves behind. Vitamin E also helps control the production of collagen and elastin in the skin. We need to protect these beautiful things that the characteristics of our skin that helps keep it plump, keep it clear, and keep it looking its most beautiful. And the skin, I'm now going to go into the probiotics and the prebiotics and the postbiotics that will be included in this prescription for this person who left the comment. So Skin Clear Biome is there to add to the Advanced Nutrition Program's AccuMax, which is brilliant in the sense that it helps to clarify the complexion itself. It works to balance the skin's natural barrier, so making sure that that acid mantle is really lovingly balanced and that the pH level of that is conducive to the skin that will be resilient to environmental factors. It brightens the skin and it helps to support the gut flora. It supports the skin health and also it supports the immunity, which is brilliant in the sense that this is what you're looking for. If you have a situation like this, you want to make sure that you are looking after yourself from the inside out. Acne, when we're experiencing acne, it's as you can expect, a result or a signal as to the fact that something isn't right. Okay, so the Skin Clear Biome has 4 strains of the bacteria itself in it, and it also has zinc in there. So after I've spoken about the next bit, which is the Skin Youth Biome, I'll tell you how you go ahead in finding a product like this. So the Skin Youth Biome is also there to, again, to look after the gut. So we're looking at the gut and skin connection, which is unique to everybody. Everyone has their own skin gut body connection, and this does that so beautifully by keeping the connection between the gut and the skin intact, and it gives this personalized results in the way that it works. It's intelligent. It's just amazing how this works, and it basically helps to subside the physical signs of aging. So things like fine lines and dullness, dryness, when the skin becomes thin and it just does not look its best. It just looks really quite hard done by because of the experiences that has been going on with acne. This helps in making sure that that happens, and all of the balanced skin is what the client experiences at the end of all of this. Now, what we advise with this product is fairly simple. All the products that I will be discussing here, again, I am not sponsored, but these are products that I use within my clinic and I prescribe to clients. It is prescription only. You cannot go onto this formulation or this program without having a consultation. It's fairly simple as to why. We need to make sure that you're okay and that you can go on this and you don't have any other medications that will contraindicate you being on this program. We need to make sure that it's suitable for you. We need to make sure that all the questions are asked regarding your health, things that you're doing, your habits, your hobbies, things that you do day to day to make sure that this is absolutely suitable for you so that you can embark on this journey in a very conducive way that will ensure that you get the desired outcome at the end. Pardon me. And so for this client, it'll be simple. It will be the Skin AccuMax with a combination of the Skin Clear Biome and the Skin Youth Biome by the Advanced Nutrition Program. That would be my advice. But of course, I am not your GP and I am not your doctor. And so if you have been prescribed to take antibiotics, my advice would be to you to discuss this with your GP and make sure that this is right for you. But if you came in to see me and this was your complaint, this is how I will handle it for you. And within 14 days, you will start to notice considerable improvement in your skin health. Okay. Right, so I'm coming towards the end of this live today. It is the first one that I have done so far, and I'm incredibly pleased that I got the questions that I needed to answer, and they were sent to me promptly. If you have any questions that you have to ask at all, please make sure that you comment below, either on this live when I post it, on my Instagram, or on my TikTok, and you'll be able to have your answers live here on YouTube when I come tomorrow. So post your questions and your answers will be provided to you the next time I come on live. Thank you. Bye-bye.